Here's your Kevin.
Hey guys, it's Amber.
Hey, Kristen.
And today we are diving into the Crystal Rogers case.
Yes.
Today marks, what is it, 4 weeks
before the trials.
before the trial starts.
For 4 weeks for Steve's trial.
Because he's being trialed first.
His is May 27th, I believe is what we said. And then Brooks's is, or not Brooks, Steve's is alone. Brooks and
Joey's.
Joseph Lawson's is June 24th.
So for some of those that may be living under a rock, because I really don't think that there's anybody out there that doesn't know about this case. Crystal is a mother of 5 who went missing in 2015.
I did not do that.
And
Okay.
her boyfriend at the time, Brooks Houck, is one of the main suspects in the disappearance of Crystal. Her vehicle was found on the BG with a flat tire.
Yes, it was found on
and her belongings were still in it. Her purse, her phone, like everything.
It was at the 14th mile marker, which there's a sign there. So her car was found with a flat tire, keys in the ignition, her phone and her purse and everything was still in the car. So, yeah, but she wasn't.
And I will say this because Kristen and I both live in Nelson County where all of this is going on. I can remember when it very first started, like when she very first went missing. The signs that was put out in people's yard throughout the community, people were looking for her, trying to find her, helping Sherry and Tommy go through
Go and look. I mean,
woods and riverbanks, like everywhere, trying to find her.
When it was 300 acres, I believe is what it was said, the farm that they searched, and they were in caverns and everything looking for her.
Now, the farm that you're talking about,
the
Houck's farm, and that was where she was last seen, right?
Yes. And then, of course, there is the grandmother, Anna Whiteside, that I believe it said she was 83 years old.
The Houck's grandmother.
Yes. Nick and Brooks' grandmother. She was, they believe that her white Buick was used to move Crystal because it was cleaned and sold within a few weeks. So, I mean, I don't know if they have any kind of proof.
Now, there is a Netflix documentary about this whole thing because I will say, like, Sherry has been relentless with getting this information out, getting Crystal's story out there to every press, everybody that she can get it in front of. She has put it out there in front of them, and good for her because
and that's how this case has grown so much. As Sherry and Tommy were so
adamant with
it. They hell bent. They were going to get their daughter found.
Yeah. And I guess who wouldn't, as a parent, be like that and want to? And then when Tommy was killed in 2016, I think
that said 16 months later.
Yeah, I think that pushed Sherry even harder to find answers.
In his murder, they made sure his gun wasn't shot and his grandson and stuff. He was shot long range in the chest right in front of his grandson.
So that was one of the things that they talked about in the documentary. Like they showed the farm that it was on.
Yes, they shot across the BG. Whoever it was, and killed him, and in front of his grandbaby. Like his grandson, I think, was 12 at the time.
And that just goes to show that.
And if we say anything that's changed or the facts have changed from what we know, please correct us because we do not want to misspeak. We want to speak good for Sherry because I've met her a few times and she is the sweetest.
She is. She's very sweet.
So we don't want to misspeak or misrepresent her or the case by any means.
And the only thing that we're talking on is Facts has already been stated.
Yes, and that's the
through
thing.
the police, through other media sites.
I was reading because of course I went back years to look at certain things, and some of the facts have changed. So I don't want to, like, if I wrote something down wrong and it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecution wanted to test those hairs, but then they didn't. And then Steve Lawson's attorney wants to now, and they aren't, because it can take 4 months to come in. And they're saying that that's not okay because it would prove it could prove there's somebody else involved and he's innocent.
Well, so Judge, because I read that too, and
I'm not innocent necessarily, but
Judge Sims has said that it's not going to change his involvement
mm-hmm.
in
would
this
just
case.
Add somebody,
right? Or not. It could not,
because technically he's already admitted to help go in and pick up his son on the side of the BG. So,
so this is what they're saying with that, with the hair, because it says Steve did request that the hairs be tested anyway,
mm-hmm.
but Nelson County Circuit Judge Charles Sims III ruled that determining whose hair belongs to wouldn't make a difference in the case, and denied Stephen's request on that. And he says, and I quote, "Even if the DNA testing successfully revealed who the hair belongs to, this information would not exclude Lawson's alleged involvement herein." Sims wrote in his ruling as a reason for not delaying this trial. And it shouldn't be delayed any further.
No.
I mean, this is coming from 2015 and we're in 2025 now.
Yes. And let's be very clear, like, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. We all have a personal opinion. And I will say this, and somebody else had mentioned it, but the what they have for evidence scares me. Because it would be like a mother, that murdered her child in Florida that got off because the evidence just wasn't there. It was pretty obvious.
I think that is why I'm hoping that is why it has taken so long to push this to trial, to have a trial, because they do have enough evidence for a conviction.
Yeah.
That's my hopes on it anyway, because I can't see them waiting this long and then saying, oh, okay, well, let's just go with what we've got.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No, and it scares me, but it doesn't, because I had lost faith in Nelson County. And I know the trials are not in Nelson County. I believe they're Odom County,
Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm. I said Odom County.
Odom County's Louisville. Is it? No, Odom County's Louisville.
Why did I think? I'm sorry, you all. I'm so into true crimes that sometimes stuff gets like twisted up in my head.
I think maybe they wanted it in Odom County. I think Odom County was one of the
because they said they couldn't have it here because he couldn't have a fair trial. But I honestly think you could have it across the United States, and you would not find somebody that doesn't know about this case. Now, whether or not, it's like knowledge of like the information or whatever, or just, they've heard
personal opinions.
Yes. And see, here's the thing. I'm one of those people that I can have my personal opinion, but if they put me on the jury, I'm going to look at the evidence.
Yeah, but a lot of people aren't like that.
No,
so
because
I understand that they do want to say, they had a fair trial. They don't want that.
Well, and I think they can.
Anywhere.
I 1000% think they can. I don't think, unless you're living under a rock, you've probably heard about this case. But
yeah, because she, like I said, she has worked relentlessly.
Has busted her butt to get it out there, and that's so important.
Solely, I say solely. Of course, Tommy, was there too in the beginning, and she did have a lot of support. She had a lot of support.
And you're talking about a woman that has literally lost her daughter, lost her husband, and now may get justice. And I think that is huge, because she's lived this for 10 years. We've watched it, but we're not living it. And I cannot imagine going through the heartbreak of, one, losing a child, because she's gone. And then 2, your biggest support being killed as well. And then she still fought.
She still fought to get answers.
And it blows my mind. As a mother, I could not imagine I could not imagine, because that's what I was saying. Like, I'll just say it, Casey Anthony. I thought wholeheartedly she's guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But did I think they had the evidence to prove it? No. They just proved she was a liar, not that she had done it. And that sucked, because I was sitting there watching. I'm like, well, I can see why, but do I agree with it? No. And so that is one of those things where,
that's why I think that, because, and again, I mean, I'm hoping that because since it has taken so long for them to push, then they do have good enough evidence to convict.
oh, absolutely. And, there's so much that is out there that we don't know.
And see, because I can remember when, like, again, when it first happened, the signs that was put out in front of, Brooks' neighborhood where he lived.
Yep.
All of the signs, not only in his neighborhood, but so many around the community put out different Crystal signs.
Yes.
Tommy signs, supporting the Ballard family in any way that they could. And that shows you what a community can do when it comes together.
Well, and like I've said, we're outsiders looking in, and we didn't have to go through the pain. As a mother, could I imagine it? No, like at all. And then, she had to fight about the grandson, and then she wasn't allowed to see him, and just all of that was so unfair to her, because she's already lost her child, and then she has her other grandbabies, and she has admitted and proven she cannot not talk about this case in front of her grandbaby. There was no reason she shouldn't have been at the scene, and I think that was hard, because it's a piece
like
of
she
your
was
child.
getting hit right and left with stuff, that.
And how she
so unfair,
and how she can like contain her composure is
beyond
amazing. Me, because I would have been in prison myself.
Me too. I would have been flipping tables. And
so, I mean, I can't speak enough about how amazing of a woman I think Sherry is, just because
strong. She's very strong.
Well, I seen her at Walmart one day, and I spoke to her or whatever, and she said something about, I cannot remember if it was Brianna or Caleb I had with me in the cart, but like playing with them and stuff. And like, she's just such a soft spoken woman, but you can tell like she is like built sturdy. Like, she has, like, if you ever need backing, Sherry's where you need to go, because I'm telling you what, she is a tough cookie. Which I mean, I don't know.
Look at all she's been through, though.
I mean, case, it makes me so sick, because we sit here and we're talking about the facts and personal opinions and stuff, but the fact of the matter is that, like I said a while ago, so much has changed as they've gotten further into the case.
Well, I feel like they there for a while, and this was my own personal opinion on it, because again, I have watched. I've tried to follow Shay McAllister. She's one that covers this case. She's covered it from start to now. She's continuing to cover it. I've watched the Netflix documentary on it, or the Discovery. Might be on Discovery instead of Netflix. Anyway, whenever that came out, I watched that. And I feel like in some cases they were sent on a wild goose chase. And not only did they get, I mean, I can't imagine Sherry how she felt during this, saying, oh, we're going to go tear up another house. We're going to go dig another hole, and come up empty handed.
Well, and did they? I mean, we're not going to know.
Right. Until the trial. I get that.
And that's also because it's not going to be televised. We're going to have to wait until after
everything's said and done to
see. And here's the thing, too. I believe if you're from Nelson County, you're not being nosy. We all just want the answers, and we all want Sherry to have her closure.
Again, because it was a community that came together strong for this family to help search hours upon hours. They even brought in teams outside of the state to help look for her. They brought in dogs, and they brought in a special, what is it? Cadaver
dog.
Yeah. To search. I mean, it's insane that the amount of manpower that has been put into this case by the hands of Sherry and her family.
Absolutely. And if y'all hear any kind of big booms, it's starting to storm here. So, yeah, but I mean, you sit here and there's so many people, like, in Nelson County, I really don't feel like everybody's wanting to be nosy. I really think everybody wants to be behind Sherry, no matter what the answer is. Because here's my thing: if these guys are innocent, because you're innocent until proven guilty. If they're innocent, then I pray to God we find who it was for Sherry. And of course everybody has their personal opinion on things and who did what and everything. And I mean, Steve has admitted that he went and picked up his son. His son moved the car. So, I mean, you're already admitting involvement. And then during the first time that they brought Brooks in to talk, his brother called him midway through the interview and was like, "Don't answer any questions."
I watched that interview.
Yes. I watched. You could hear his brother in the background, like on the phone, saying, "Don't answer any of their questions." Blah blah blah. Well, then in October, that happened in July. In October, his brother was fired for interference with the case. But then they did,
and so he should have been.
But then he
took an oath.
He sat there and he failed a polygraph bigger than shit. They said it was of grave concern because he refused to work with or answer any questions, but he said he would take a polygraph. So the FBI got a hold of him. He took the polygraph, and they said that the polygrapher said that it was of grave concern. So I mean,
and that is one of the biggest questions that a lot of people ask on, because there's so many support, the Ballards or the Crystal pages on social media and things like that. Shay McAllister, again, she has her following where she's covering the case. So many are asking, where is Nick? What's going on with Nick? I don't think that has neither here nor there yet. Like,
no,
nothing's come about with him.
Well, and I think that it's in the works. I honestly think that that's in the works. Because he turned over a gun.
Yeah, but they said that that was inconclusive. The evidence was inconclusive.
Well, and he knows how to mess with that too, to change the pattern of the bullet when it comes out. So I mean, it would be inconclusive, but it's so frustrating because you have a mother of 5. I just turned 36. She was 35 years old, and she had 5 babies, and for her to be taken from those babies, and
one of them is the son of Brooks. Like, I can't wrap my head around what kind of monster, because in the beginning, I remember everything from the beginning. He would say, yes, he would be cooperative. He would
but then he wouldn't help with the searches.
He never helped with the searches. It was always an excuse after an excuse. At one point he said that he just thought she was at another family member's house and didn't even think anything of it. That's the part that I can't wrap my head around. Like, what type of person does it take to be that? And also because, all of the house, they got put into a grand jury
trial.
Recently it was said that they recorded.
Oh yeah, they have recordings of things, of them doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing. They weren't supposed to be recording, and they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they can't get trialed for that. They can't get in any kind of trouble, arrested or whatever, because I guess there's like statute of limitations, like how long it can be before. And because
I have never understood statute of limitations, especially if it's like there's proof that comes up. I've never understood statute of limitations because there should not be. Like, I mean, and it's on most crimes.
Like, I know.
That's crazy to me.
But why wouldn't that be looked into back when it happened?
Well, that's kind of like, her mom and dad put her car in a storage unit because the police department was not doing their jobs. They were not. And that has always confused me as well. They did not do what they should have done by searching her car and getting evidence off that car.
So on that documentary that I watched, like the people, because she had
that experts, is why they took her car and put it in
she had experts come in that documentary to go thoroughly through the bags of evidence that they took out of that car. And again, guys, I think I'm wanting to say that the documentary is either on Netflix or Discovery Channel.
Well,
I don't remember.
When I looked it up, it was on Peacock.
Peacock. Oh, it might have been on Lifetime then too.
Probably. Well, because it was on a lot of different things. And I'm sure you can pull it up on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
To get more information on it. But there is, she's still missing as far as we all know. Now, whether or not the FBI has found her, we don't know. And we won't know.
Right, until after the
Until the
trial.
trial.
So, and I'm sure probably even the last trial, which isn't until June 24th of this year.
Well, and this don't make it any better, but at least she has somewhere to go to respect Tommy and to, talk to him and stuff. She doesn't have that closure. And I think that any mom, regardless of the outcome, needs the closure. Because
there's always, I was going to say, there's always that what if.
The what ifs would eat me alive as a mother. But I mean, we sit here and talk about it, and like when Brooks was first spoke to, he said that she was on her phone playing games when he went to sleep. When he woke up, she was gone and the car was gone. So that's what was said. But the last time she was seen was on the Houck farm. So do with that what you will. Because, I mean...
And they have searched that farm multiple times. Like I've watched...
they've drained ponds.
Again, I have followed this case from the very beginning because I remember when it first happened. We took supplies out to some of the ones that was doing the search efforts. Water and Gatorade and such like that, to kind of help while they were out looking for her when it very first happened.
Yeah.
The sign that you said, it's still on.
It's still on the BG.
Bluegrass Parkway. It is still there.
Yep. I know because the first time I seen it, it's almost tear jerking because, like I said, as a mother,
what blows my mind is that it's happening here. It's so close to home. We live in this town.
Yeah.
This is things that you only hear about on TV. That you just watch, a documentary of it happening somewhere else.
Go 30 miles west, you'll be in Louisville, and you can live it too.
Louisville's a whole other.
But so we have Jason Ellis, we have Kathy and Samantha, we have Crystal, we have Tommy. Am I missing anybody? There's so many unsolved
I think there's
murders.
A couple of more. A K-Hole. I think there was a K-Hole boy.
But there's so many unsolved murders, and I think that a lot of them kind of fell on the wayside because there was so many. And then I'm not sure.
Because it was like bam, 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 bam.
And I'm not sure what got the FBI involved, but I'm so glad they are.
Sherry, 100%.
She pushed, but there has to be extenuating circumstances for the FBI to come in. I think that's how you say it, extenuating circumstances. Something like that.
I think that she was, again, so relentless in her efforts to find out what happened to her daughter and bring her daughter's
killer to justice. And I mean, and as a mother,
and so she should.
Like,
nobody deserves that, regardless of whatever situation that you're in, whatever your home life is, like whatever relationship is, whatever. No one deserves that type of treatment.
And I pray that if they have not found her, depending on how the court goes, if he's proven guilty, I pray that they tell her where she is. That way she can bury her.
Because and have a proper
burial,
funeral, and actually have a closing to what she's worked so hard to get.
Yeah,
and not only her, I mean her children, her 4 children.
Yeah, you have her kids, and you have Crystal's siblings, and like people that are living it daily. We just get to watch it on the news. It's not our daily life. That's like I don't know how you are, but when I see that a kid's died, like we just had a child, she was 18, but killed in the guy was drinking and driving, hit her and her boyfriend head on and killed her. Like that broke my heart. Which my daughter, they all went, like, they knew her.
It's scary. Those things are scary when it happens like that, especially so close to home.
Which I told Aubrey, my 15-year-old, there was a little girl that, unalived herself, and her name was Aubrey Paige Wyatt. So same initials, looks exactly like Aubrey at 13.
Oh, I've seen her story on TikTok.
She looks just like Aubrey. And so I come up, I'm, scrolling TikTok and her obituary pops up. So here I am looking at a little girl that has the face of my child. and the same name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
you know,
it. I know what that does to my heart and my like. I cannot imagine being that mom.
Every year, it's getting worse and worse as far. And I say that, but I don't know. Really, is it because when I was in high school, I lost a very dear friend of mine in a car accident. Thankfully, it wasn't anything like a drunk driver or something severe like that. Not that it makes it any better.
No, it was just an accident, though.
Yeah. And it is very hard on everybody around you. So for it to be a case that you can't have closure to, like the Crystal Rogers case, I can't imagine what her family has had to deal with, the hell that they have gone through for 10 years now.
To get closure
and now it is finally getting time, and it's so close but yet so far away.
Absolutely.
Because how long would a trial normally take?
I don't think this trial will take very long. I think it's going to be point blank. And depending on how many experts they have and stuff, because of course the defense and the prosecution will have their own experts. But I don't see it being a very long case.
With Steve Lawson, I know he's changed attorneys a couple of times already.
Well, and
or at least once.
At the beginning, when he first was arrested, he was like, there was this big ordeal about he was supposed to have immunity because he spoke, and they backed out on the deal or something. And they can, when they offer you immunity, it's for one thing, and if you're involved in something, they can take back that immunity.
Well, I think that
if it's severe enough.
I'm wanting to say that there was something that he had misspoke on.
Yes, he lied about something.
Yeah, that his immunity was taken from him.
But I mean,
changed his story up a couple of times.
Which it is his son too, so I can see him wanting to save his son's butt. But I mean, that's like
and I think about that too. Now that you've said that, because we are talking about a father and son that is allegedly involved in this case. And I mean, what do you do as a parent when your son or when your child calls you and says, hey, I really royally screwed up.
What do I do?
Come help me.
Well, and as a parent, I would like to hope I would do the right thing, but I would also want to protect my child. So it's kind of, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
And
I couldn't imagine carrying that knowledge of knowing that, because again, people have been looking for this girl for 10 years now. And they have watched, because it's not like it's been a hidden fact of the things that they have done to try to find her. Yes. It has been televised. It has been.
Which the trial is not going to be televised.
No,
so
everybody will
better
be
follow
TV.
Shay, because Shay will be, updating everybody. Which,
yeah, they're not allowing any recordings or anything being televised in the courtroom.
Which Shay has been amazing when it comes to keeping up with the case. Which I've always said that, if you want a reporter that's going to just state facts, go to Shay, because I have not seen her one time, and I have, and she corrected herself like immediately, because people misspeak. I get it, but I pray that they do have what they need, and the people that are guilty are brought to justice.
Yes, absolutely.
Because Sherry deserves
whatever
Tommy
the
deserves it.
Involvement. Crystal deserves it. Her kids, her brother, her sister. I could not imagine living this hell with one of my sisters
for 10 years.
Yeah, it just.
Which, like I said, this just shows how strong Sherry is, because if I thought somebody was guilty and I knew that they hurt my child, Lord be with them, because I'm coming.
It'd probably be my trial that they were going up
exactly.
against. It wouldn't be, And I hate to say that, but that's me. That's my, I don't know that I could be as strong as Sherry has been through all of this.
I couldn't.
To push through and do, because ultimately you will never convince me that it has not gone this far and that it is not going to trial next month because of Sherry.
Yes.
That is the whole, I wholeheartedly believe it is the whole reason that it has gotten as far as it is.
Absolutely. And I mean, sit here and talk about, how strong Sherry is. And Tommy was amazing when it came to
Oh yeah, he was out every single day
the
doing
totes
stuff.
of information he had and stuff.
Organization with everything that
Yes.
he had. That was another thing that they talked about on the documentary. They showed all of his totes that he'd had, all of
Yes.
his information from every kind of lead, even if it was a small lead to a large lead. He had everything.
Well, and I believe there is so much more evidence than we know because there was a reason they dug in specific places, the FBI, when they got involved. So it's kind of like you hope somebody rode over on somebody and we just don't know it yet.
Right, but it's all going to come out in the end.
Yes, and that they have hopefully found her. And I know it takes a while for like DNA testing to come back. But I do pray that Sherry gets that closure because I could not imagine.
Well, it's like, and even in the documentary, when she is showing the investigators that was involved in the documentary, all of the information and stuff that Tommy had, they'd asked if they could take it and like comb through it themselves and look at it, and she told them, she was like, "You can make copies of it.
Yep.
I don't want this to leave
because
my presence."
She felt, and it looked like, Nelson County was not handling it the way they were supposed to.
That nobody was.
And I think that is why, she is so adamant about, being involved, because they had to be. They had no other choice. And thankfully,
she was her own advocate.
Yes. And the fact, you're talking about a mama bear fighting for her child and fighting for justice for her child. And, I myself, this is my opinion, not fact. I'm not sure when this would come out, but I wholeheartedly believe that Tommy's death is related to Crystal.
Well, they have actually stated in court that they feel like that the two cases are related.
Yes.
And I'm with you. I wholeheartedly think that they are related.
Yes.
I hope that this case brings justice for Tommy both cases.
Yes. Because I think that get Crystal's case out of the way, get that taken care of, and then go hammer down on Tommy's, because I think there's gonna be less evidence there, and that's probably why. But I honestly think they know who did that.
Well, if they I feel like if they pull, once the questioning starts in court and the back and forth, and whatever evidence that they have, I think that they may get, I'm hoping that they get enough to maybe pull somebody else in on Tommy's case and prosecute on that as well.
I don't know if it's a rumor or if it's just going around, but there's also a rumor, because this is a small town, that there's somebody else involved that they're planning on bringing in. So I'm curious
that there's more arrests. They've said that there could be more arrests.
And I'm curious to see who, because
because it is a small town and you never
we rode motorcycles with Steve.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you never know who you're actually interacting with. That could know something about this case.
And that's what,
or could be involved in it.
I told Justin, I was like, I know that man. And then he was like, yeah, he's married to blah, blah, blah. And we rode motorcycles with him. And I was like, that's where I know his face. And he was like, yeah, we rode with him. And I was like, oh, wow.
I go back to, I'm very anxious to see how this case plays out, what kind of evidence that they come out in court and say, because I think it is way past time for Crystal's family to receive closure and for Crystal to receive the justice.
And I'm telling you what, when she does get justice and her body is found, if it's not already, I hope that people will gather around Sherry and she has the biggest celebration of life you've ever seen.
That is definitely going to happen. I think that this town is going to have the biggest, I don't want to say celebration.
Well, you remember when we were talking about death and I was like, I don't want people to cry. I want people to
celebrate.
Yes. Because regardless of how long you're on this earth, it's still,
I think it'll be a celebration that
she was found and
Yes,
that
that
closure
she
is there.
finally has the closure that
Mhm.
she needs and deserves to
Yes.
have.
Well, and you sit here and you think about it. Look at how big the search parties, the pages for Crystal, like it is just astounding the people that came in, not even just from our community, but from around us
Mhm.
to help find her.
Yeah,
And
like I said, there was that team that came in out of state
Mhm.
that helped
they,
Sherry
they had their
search.
dogs and stuff
Yeah.
with them. And it's sad because like the grandmother, I mean, she's 83. Of course she doesn't want to tell on her grandbabies.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's hard when it's family, and I get that. But I hope no matter what, even if it was my children, if something bad like that happened, I hope that I would have the strength inside of myself to be like, this is the right thing to do.
You need to go
Yes.
and tell the truth.
Don't
You
make me
need
do
to,
it. You need to do it.
yeah.
I hope that as a mother, I'm strong enough to do that. But I can see why she's like that. But I can also be like, I don't think it's right. Like,
Right. You
because
could
she
see both sides
refused
of it.
because she refused to talk to the
Somebody
jury.
else's family is hurting, and it's a devastation to somebody else's family, but it could also cause devastation to your own family.
Mhm.
Like, where do you weigh that out at?
Absolutely. Well, and
I mean, what's wrong is wrong. It was done clearly. The whoever done it does need to be brought to justice.
Mhm.
But again, are you going to turn over on your own family to bring that to justice?
Exactly.
I personally would think, like you said, I hope that I would have enough strength about me to say,
this was wrong. Go forward and do it.
okay, I'm here, I'm going to support you, but you need to go and state the facts.
Yes.
You need to turn yourself in, or you need to give this evidence up. You need to do what's right.
Well, and there is ways to there for a while they had a tip line. You could be anonymous.
Yeah.
There was no reason that, because I'm sorry, but I think a lot of people know what happened.
I
think
I don't like those tip lines.
No,
Because you're supposed to be able to stay anonymous,
but you don't.
And it's just like the whistleblowers hotlines that every company has, when you can call and tell on a superior or whatever is going on within your company.
Comes out who you are.
It always.
But I do,
and I guess that is kind of scary for those that maybe knew something and didn't want to talk, because what if their name did get brought out,
Yep.
because a lot of stuff like, Joseph Lawson, he was in a horrible wreck a few years back, in which has completely made him crippled.
Paralyzed.
Yeah, he's paralyzed.
But you sit here and you think about it, it's like karma.
Karma or a setup, like, I don't know.
But if you were genuinely involved, karma sucks.
That's what I'm saying. Karma or a setup, I don't know.
It's
I have
so
my
weird
own opinions about that.
Yeah, it's so weird because in this town there's so many rumors that go around, so it's hard to differentiate between rumor and fact. Because I've heard so much, like this case is involved with Jason Ellis. And Kathy and Samantha.
Oh yeah, you hear all kinds of stuff
all the time, and the rumors get old because you want the truth. Like, I'm a fact chaser. Like, I want to know the truth. I don't want you to tell me what you think.
Right.
Or, well, I do like to hear what you think, but don't come at me with that it's a fact. Tell me, I think.
Not, this is how I feel. Yeah, this is what I think on it.
I know, or this is, and being so direct about your opinion, that's your opinion.
Right.
Because it's a rumor.
That it's portrayed as a fact instead of an actual fact.
Because like I said, we can sit here all day and say we think.
And I think that too has probably hurt this case because of so many rumors that has started.
Yep.
Because there were so many right back to back to back that has happened.
Well, and I think, I do think Nelson County, I think they became overwhelmed. But if
I guarantee it, because when I very first moved here, my mom went through this town like she was FBI. Like, I'd never, some of the things that she was coming up, she looked up like the tornado rate of how many tornadoes would hit here when I first moved here. Nice. So I mean, she looked up the crime rates and everything.
Mama thought you were gonna blow away.
Yes, absolutely. Like, she knew what I was moving into before I even knew what I was moving into.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. There was nothing.
And there's
like
not
that.
really now. Drugs have gotten
really bad,
outrageous, and theft. But I always say Louisville's moving out of Louisville.
coming this way.
Mm-hmm.
But for so many
Unsolved murders,
and they're hideous crimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
like personal hideous crimes that has happened. And they were right back to back to back.
Yeah, because Jason Ellis happened in May of 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And he got out to move something off this road, and he did not have his canine with him, and was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Dead in the middle of the road. And they named that part of the BG after him, as they should have, because I thought that was very special. And then you have Samantha and Kathy that were killed, and Samantha was a kid, like she was a child.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't deserve that. I mean, no child deserves it. Nobody does. Well, some people deserve it, but
that's a whole other story.
But I mean,
they did not. They did not.
No, and but there's just so little evidence for things. Sorry, I got hair that's. But there is so little evidence to bring justice. Like I seen where they think Jason Ellis was his was to do with the theft and stuff that was going on in the businesses,
mm-hmm.
and like corruption. That's what they said his was based on. I would have gone with drugs because he was our only canine.
Mm-hmm.
But and I've heard a lot of people about when he killed him.
Again, rumors. It's all rumors. There's not one steady fact
about what happened.
Other than it happened.
But I do know.
And in Crystal's case, I go back to the fact that Sherry pushed so hard to keep this in the media's eye,
where it needed to be.
Keep it in law enforcement's eyes, to constantly push and push and push.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you will never convince me that that's not why.
And can you imagine
we're at where we're at with it right now?
Can you imagine being her and having to deal with everything going on? And like
I'm sure she doesn't get. I'm sure she does not get a moment's peace, because I at one time, you talked about all of the pages that they had on social media, and I at one time was on one of those pages, and I don't think it was specifically just for Crystal's case. I think it was for all of them involved.
I invited you to some of them,
and one of the pages, I remember some of those people on there, not even from this area, mind you, because again, people all over know what's going on with this case, I feel like.
Yeah.
But some of the comments that people were leaving on this page, and I was like, I even commented, I was like, please be mindful. Her mother is on this page. Her children could be on this page.
Yep.
Her siblings could see these comments that you all are making. Why are you so gruesome with them? Just be mindful. I don't understand what is wrong with people to think that is okay to do.
Suck.
Just because it's a public site, just because it's the internet. Like, I don't.
That and the most of the people that make those comments are not local.
But still, what kind of person thinks that it's okay to do that?
I think because it's not personable to them, so they don't give a shit what they say. Like,
these people are saying they've followed this case the whole time, and then they're throwing out these assumptions and all of these rumors, and well, what if this, or what if this, and this could happen. I mean, at one point, and I will not go into detail of what the comment was, but they were talking about hogs on the farm.
Yeah, I know exactly what
and they went into detail with it. And I was so pissed off over that, because that's not right.
No. Well,
where's the freaking human decency?
It's gone. Nobody has it anymore, because, like I said, most of the people that make those comments, they're not locals. They're like, so it's not personal to them. Because regardless of if I knew these people personally, it is personal, because this is such a small town.
But you should still have human decency. Not to say shit like that where the family.
Oh, absolutely. I don't care if it's in California.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that.
You don't comment stuff like that.
No. And I mean,
and please, if you're listening to this, watching this, or whatever, and you start following the trial, keep those damn comments to yourself if that's the way you feel or think or assume or whatever.
Because keep in mind, her children are a lot older now. A lot older.
Yeah.
Most of them are adults, I believe. If not, they're very close to it.
Very close to it.
Because it's been 10 years.
And the internet stays forever.
Yes.
Like, just have human decency.
And I hope, like I always say, you know, when there's car crashes and stuff, I don't care that people post pictures because I don't care how I find out. I want to get to my loved one.
That was something
that's
that
where
we
you and I, that's where we disagreed. Because I said, I don't care how I found out. I want to find out as soon as possible so I can get there for my loved one. However, if I see, when you see pictures like that, there's always comments. Put your phone down, distracted driving, speeding, drinking. Like, nobody can ever, be decent.
No.
Which actually, I mean, I wasn't decent when I found out they arrested the guy that killed that 18-year-old because I said, I hope he rots in hell. Because, you know, drinking and driving, he killed that girl. Period.
But that's a fact. They've already released that happened in that case.
Couldn't kind of done. He was stuck in the truck. But anything that is said about what happened to her is an assumption. Nobody knows.
Right. And you're not going to know until after the trial.
Yes.
And however long that may be, like, please, for the love of mankind, just have some human decency when you're following this case and you're going online, because her mother is seeing this. They've had to live this for 10 years now.
It's almost been 10 years.
Yeah.
Almost.
So
2 months shy.
Just have human decency.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, and you know, I think going back to the case and the facts and stuff, I think it's very odd she wasn't reported missing.
Well, Sherry was the only one. She reported her
2 days later.
2 days later. But it was because during that time
they found her car.
When they interviewed, that's when they found the car. But when she kept asking Brooks about it, and this was in several of the investigations when they had talked to both sides, he kept saying he just assumed she was at a family member's house. Like, that's what he kept saying the whole time, is he assumed she was with a family member.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until they found her car and Sherry and Tommy knew this isn't
something's
right.
Wrong.
Yeah, this isn't right.
And, you know, I, as a mother, could you imagine that heart stopping moment when you find the car? Like, can you imagine? Like, because my first thought would be the trunk.
You know, every time I go by that spot, I look around and I go back to what they say in the conditions of that night was, you know, around the time frame and stuff. And I look around and it's not an overly busy part.
The BG is slow.
It's not an overly busy part of town. And it was late at night that I guess it was
right in the middle of
ditched
the night.
or left or whatever. So
where the tire blew.
Yeah, where I kept thinking, why didn't somebody had to see this? Somebody had to have been passing by. But honestly, let's think about it. If you were passing by,
would you think anything of it?
Yeah,
somebody broke down. So somebody's helping.
There was a flat tire.
Yeah, because the way I see it too, though, is the BG is a cut through from Lexington to E-Town, so they may not be local. They could be from somewhere completely different from here.
And I'm horrible about knowing like makes and models of vehicles because they have blasted her vehicle. I am horrible about it. Like I could say a color, but that's about it.
Well, it's a good thing that you know your colors.
Yeah, I do know my colors, but not at night. So that's probably another bad thing.
Just wear your glasses,
but I just wouldn't, like I wouldn't have even, I thought about that, you know, when I kept saying somebody had to see something. And then I thought, well, if it was me, would I paid that much of attention?
Yeah, because you had 2 days go by. So, I mean, if the car was ditched July 3rd when she went missing, or when her tire blew, whatever they're saying happened.
I think it was ditched later after that, wasn't it?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure.
I know that they found it on the 5th. That's when she was reported her missing.
Yeah, because as a woman, I think we all know we aren't leaving our purse or phone behind.
Right.
I mean, I don't carry a purse, so if my purse gets left behind, we got problems.
Yeah. Why do you have a purse to begin with?
What is in that purse? But I mean, that as a mom, that's when I would know something's bad wrong. And
because nobody these days goes without their phone.
No. And see, I also wondered why they're trying, like, I understand why they're trying Brooks and Joseph together, but why is Steven separate? That has crossed my mind so many times. Why is he separate and they're together?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that we're not going to know until the trial.
Well, and at one point, during pre-trials with everything, you know, they were wanting all of them separate. They didn't want any of them together.
Well, and my biggest fear is they're going to try to say something about they had a unfair trial. But
if they had them all together.
Well, but people talking. And I pray that, you know, I think maybe that's why it's taking so long is to find the jurors, because I don't know when they're going to do the juror poll. Have they mentioned that?
No, I don't think they've mentioned that.
I don't think they have either.
I think that's done like closer time to the trial.
I'm just wondering. Yeah, it is. Because they'll probably have to seclude them.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it. Most cases, most high profile cases like this, they do seclude the jurors.
Yeah, and they need
during
to.
that time.
And I pray they take all the steps they need to make sure they have a fair trial.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, regardless of personal opinion, they deserve a fair trial, and they deserve to either be proven guilty or innocent. And it sucks because no matter what your personal opinion is, the outcome is the outcome. You cannot be retried
for the same thing. So I pray that they get it together.
I hope they get it right the first time. For Sherry's sake, for Tommy's sake, Crystal's sake, their families, friends. Because I mean, Crystal had friends that I know you and Abigail would do this for me, and Jennifer just rallied around and did whatever they could to help Sherry. Because, you know, I go missing. I ain't gonna have nobody looking for me, so come find me.
I will look for you.
I'll be the big mouth. I always say if somebody takes me, they're gonna drop me off. Like they're gonna get tired.
I'm gonna fight the whole time. Like you're gonna get tired. I'm gonna get tired. Yes. We're gonna get tired of this.
We're gonna get tired real quick. So you better have a weapon. But I mean, that's something else I think of. If he's guilty, can you imagine somebody you love hurting you like that?
I know. Like you spent your parts of your life with it. You had a child.
You have a child with this person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when I said earlier, what kind of monster would I can't wrap my head around people like that.
So Cindy Holbert put they are guilty as charged.
We cannot wait until this case goes to trial.
Yes.
We will absolutely be following every detail of this case. I have been following it from the beginning.
I have as well.
I've watched everything on it. I follow Shay McAllister on it. She's the best outlet, I feel like, to follow.
And that's something like her saying, you know, they're guilty as charged. Like I said, we have our personal opinions, but we also got to let our justice system do its job and hope that it gets it right. Because
let's not talk about the justice system.
No, trust me, I know. But that's what I'm saying though. Like you just pray they get it right.
Yeah.
Because like I said,
that justice is actually brought to this family now.
Yes, because they need it. It's like I said, and I'll say it 1,000 times. We all have a personal opinion on this, and but you can have a personal opinion. You just have to pray that the justice system gets it right, and the jurors get it right.
That justice is served. That
Cindy Holbert also said, "Oh, I will too." Crystal is a distant cousin, and we are very sorry for your loss.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, I did not personally know her, but I have met Sherry a few times, and just listening to her and listening to when she speaks on TV and stuff about Crystal, like I can't imagine. You know, she like when she talked about her, I was like, oh God, she's just like me. Like she had a big mouth, and you know, like she just her personality, and you could just tell, you know, it's such a loss for her. And then she also lost her biggest support system. So
her backbone, like he was the one that, and I think that's probably what pushed her even more to say,
absolutely,
no, you're not going to get by with this.
Yes,
something is going to be done. You're not allowed to walk away with this
You're
happening.
not allowed to destroy my family and walk away.
Right. I'm not
Um,
going to allow that to happen.
Because that's what happened.
And
They
good
destroyed
for
their
her.
family.
Good for
Oh,
her.
absolutely. I mean, she fought hell and high water to like get, this to happen. And I will never not think that is what happened, because I believe if she didn't, it would still be sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, it would just be an unsolved case.
Yep. And I mean, it still could be.
What are those called? Cold cases.
Cold case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it very well could still, they could be proven innocent. You never know.
I have faith that this time,
I think they'll get it right.
I think that justice is going to be served.
Yes.
I have high hopes in this, and I'm anxious to see how this trial plays out.
Yes. Well,
I'm anxious to see what is.
And I think that's what's,
because,
as anxious as we are, can you imagine those that love them?
And you got to think too, because Steve Lawson's trial is set for May the 27th. Well, Joseph and Brooks is not set until June the 24th.
Is it the 24th?
Yeah, June the 24th. Yeah. So whatever comes about in Steve's trial, I'm sure
it'll be used. But
I'm sure it won't. There's a lot that probably will not be released to the public.
Oh, absolutely.
During that time.
But you know what I was thinking? Oh, it'll be released because there's reporters that are going to be in there. But you know what I was thinking too, though? I think that there is a very, very big reason why they're trying them separate. Because there's a rat somewhere in the mix. And if somebody is going to speak against somebody, they're not going to try them together.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's hope that
is,
whatever it is, let's hope that it brings justice to this family.
And I still wonder why I still wonder why it's.
I have my own personal opinion on
Cindy
it.
Hobart said, "I agree, Amber. This has been too long coming.
It has. Mm-hmm. It has been a very long time coming, and I absolutely."
And we'll do our best to keep up with this trial.
I have faith that justice is going to be served, and I think that Sherry will finally, hopefully, be able to have the closure that she deserves.
What did Travis said? Don't call it closure. What is it? It's like when a door closes, another one opens. So it's not the end of.
It's the beginning of a new era.
Yes. Because remember, he said it to me. I can't remember exactly how he said it.
But I feel like when this is over, not only can Crystal be laid to rest, but I think Sherry can also rest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think her spirit can rest. Because I think that when you fought for 10 years, and finally there's either going to be a resolution or a really big step in justice.
Yeah, like, I mean, either way, something's happening here.
But I hope I know there's more evidence than we know of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's way more than what the public knows. What they're releasing to the public.
I just hope that when she gets her closure, because I know she's going to, I just know it. I just have this strong feeling about it, and I'm manifesting it that she gets her closure. I think that it's going to, I hope, bring a lot more justice
down the line.
Yes. Because I believe that there is some connections there. And I could be very wrong, but it just feels too connected maybe. Which, I mean, Tommy and Crystal, I have no doubt that's just
absolutely. You will never be able to convince me any differently that those two cases are not connected.
But who was it? That's,
who else is connected with it?
And Cindy put, they can't let all the details out. We don't need a mistrial.
Absolutely. That's what we're saying. Yes.
And that's why we've said, if we say something that's not fact or it's changed, because trust me, we do our research, but if it's changed and we don't see like the difference in it, like when they wanted to do the hair testing and then they didn't, and then Steve's lawyer, like there was a lot of changes.
There's changes in there.
But no, we don't want all the information. We 1000%. I don't care if we're left out in the cold till December when, everything's said and done, which I hope
I
I hope
hope
it
it
only
don't take
takes,
that long.
yeah, I hope, it's a quick trial, but I'm saying as far as
The public view, the
yes,
public eye.
I don't care how long we have to wait as long as she gets her closure.
Yes. She needs her justice.
And I don't feel like
this family needs it.
So I don't feel like us as a community are being nosy. I think we just all care so much that
Because it's so close to home. Like
That-
this has hit.
it's close to home.
We
but
are a small community, but this small community has huge heart behind it when
Absolutely.
it comes to one of their own.
Mhm.
You know, of course, there's
bad people in every
bickering
community.
inside,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. But I have watched this community back the Ballards,
Mhm.
100% with it, and as they should. I could not imagine
Absolutely.
again. I sound like a broken record saying this, but my heart goes out to Sherry and her family, and all I can say is like she's my idol. To me, she is the
She
true
has to be the
hero.
strongest woman.
Yes, she is the true hero in this scenario, in this case,
And
because
to fight.
the way that she's fought so
man.
hard.
And as a mother, I pray that I would have that strength. I do, because she has to be one of the strongest people I've ever seen.
Yeah, like I could again. You won't convince me that this hasn't gone this far without her. Like she's the reason.
Absolutely,
I believe it. But yes, we will continue on. We may not do every episode on this case. We will wait until we get as many facts as we can on it. But as the trial goes through, we will also keep talking about this.
And then we can also, most likely, we can move us talking about it to Thursdays, because our Thoughtful Thursdays, because this is such a heavy-hearted situation.
Yeah.
We could also just bring it up then, so that we can talk about facts and then our opinion, because that's kind of how Thursdays usually work anyway.
So yes, we will continue on with it. We will also make sure that you all know when we talk about it.
Cindy said Sherry is one strong person. I don't know how she's done what all she's done.
Oh,
no,
me either.
No, because I've literally watched her do something that I don't think many people are capable of.
Yeah. That's why I said, she's my hero. She's the true hero in all of this. She's a huge idol.
Her and Tommy. Because, that's one dad that fought and fought and fought. And, whoever did that, shame on you. Because do what you got to do as a human. I don't care. But in front of a child. Gosh, my heart breaks for that kid.
Well, it's like you said earlier,
and he's not a kid anymore, but geez.
Karma will come.
Karma is a very, very strong...
Karma does not miss anybody. I promise you that. But thanks for tuning in, guys. And again, we are live on Facebook and all of our medias on Tuesdays at 5.
And then Thursday, we go live on Thoughtful Thursdays.
That is just on the Facebook page.
And we do that at 1.
1.
I always forget if it's 1 or 2.
Kristen's always late, so 1-ish.
I'm never late. I'm always on time.
But make sure that you follow along with all of our social medias, and thanks for tuning in to us, guys.
Thank you all.